Howdy folks. Even though it's only like 30 degrees outdoors, I got almost 60 degrees, now 56 degrees inside of the shuttle bus today. It's a Saturday, and I need to get going on the wiring, and so I figured I'd take advantage of the warmth inside of here without having to run the diesel heater. And as you can see, I'm without my glasses again because I've had the cataract surgery in this eye, and I had to take the lens out of that side of my glasses because that was a double correction and it was driving me nuts. Couldn't see anything. And I don't really need distance vision so much for working inside of the shuttle bus. With this eye, yeah, I would, because I'm so short-sighted, nearsighted, that it would make it kind of tough. But this eye has been corrected with the cataract surgery now to where I can see pretty darn sharp at a good 5 feet. Now my problem in this eye is really up close here, like 6-7 inches away. I'm still going to need readers. But with this eye, I mean, this is also confusing. With this eye, I can see at 4 or 5 inches super good. Always have. So I've got some, work going on here. I can see this at any distance I need in here. And if I need really close up, I can use this. And then I also bought a magnifying glass that has a fold out handle. It's got 2 levels of brightness, and this thing works super. But I'm anticipating I won't need that, but I'm still going to keep it out here in case I do, because you just never know when you get into trying to find a screw head or something like that that's super small, or just a kind of wrong distance. It'll help. Plus, I also bought this pair of goggles that I can wear, and they've got all kinds of powers of telescopic lens, but it just, man, you got to be within 3 or 4 inches to even use them. So I probably won't use those, but maybe. I don't think I'll need to, though. Anyway, as far as what we're going to do today is I'm going to turn you around here. I'm going to work on wiring up this fuse block here in through the wall and back here to where the wiring goes and connects up to the switches, which I don't think you can see them. There it is. All the switches up above there. And then from there down to a breaker here. And then through the wall and back here to the distribution blocks that I showed you last time. For all this is going to be 12 volt. So this is going to be 16 gauge wire up here, but coming out of this fuse block down to the switch, through the switch, and down to the distribution block, I'm going to use 1 gauge because I'm going to be powering up 6 switches at once. And 16 is good from the fuse block up to the switches, because that's all going to be low voltage stuff and low wattage also, like LED lights and just small stuff, a fan, maybe my ceiling fan that I've got. I've got one of these ceiling fans that you'd normally cut a hole through the roof for, but I'm not going to need to do that because, hang on a second, I'll show you. Because I've got a roof hatch up here, and it's bigger than what my exhaust fan is. But the exhaust fan, I'm going to make it so that it has a couple of slots up here, one on each side of this, that'll just slip into when I need it, and be able to open this hatch up a little bit and just turn that power on there and it'll blow it to the outside. Most of the time though, if it's not too hot in here, or if I'm not cooking or whatever, with a lot of steam, I'll just keep that roof hatch closed. So I'm going to get busy here. It's only 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so I got plenty of time to work on this stuff. I'm going to see how much I can get done today. I don't know what the weather's going to be like tomorrow, but it's been getting pretty stinking cold. And I've got a temperature sensor in here. You can't see it from here, but it's the sensor sends a signal into the house so that I can tell how nice it is out here or how cold it is. And then I can gauge, inside the house, if it's decent enough to come out here and work. Because I don't want to run the diesel heater. Last time I ran it, I was fooling around with the tubing, and it got a big gulp of air out of the fuel filter, and it shut itself down. So rather than purging that line out, I think I want to connect it to the 28-gallon diesel fuel tank that I've got down below here, and put a bunch of fuel in there. Then I've got a really good long-term, and it's all wired all the way to this panel up here the right way. Fuel filter and everything will be mounted down below the bed, and just have that done. I got to be working down underneath the bed anyway to be connecting to the 2,000 watt pure sine inverter, and feeding wires up from the inverter up to this panel up here. And also I've got a 100 amp lithium charger that I'm going to permanently mount on a wall down here above the head of the bed. And so if I need to charge my batteries, I've got 6 of them, LifePo 4 batteries. If I need to charge them, I can run it off from my generator, which is on the back side of the shuttle bus on a carrier. Or I can plug in to my house or to a campground through my shore power, whatever. So I want to get that stuff done while I'm dinking around underneath the bed with the electrical anyway. And I've got to send the 12 volt up here. I've got to bring in the shore power, bring it up to a fuse box that I've got up here with 210 volt, 20 amp breakers. And also from my 2,000 watt inverter, the 110 volt, which is also going to come up to that fuse box with the breakers. And that's a household type fuse block. It's a square D home line, and that's already been mounted. I've got a square box, steel box with 2 receptacles, so I'll have a double duplex. That's going to be mounted right below this breaker box. Let's see if I can show you that breaker box here a second. Over there at the left side of your camera there, of your screen, and that will that'll give me lots of options. I'm also going to have 110 volt going to the other side, to this counter over here, although all my appliances are going to be on this side of the shuttle bus, on the driver's side. My refrigerator is going to be in the front, almost right directly behind the bus driver's seat. And but so far my plan is I've got one of these small wash machines that's going to go right behind the driver's seat, then my refrigerator with possibly the microwave and toaster oven above that, and then I've got a really nice expensive recliner that's from Rec Pro. It's almost a $700 recliner that's electric, and that's going to be just before you get to this counter here, and I'll be able to fold that out so my feet are right over here where my handicap lift is, over there. But I'm not going to put that in here until till later, because before I get this bus title changed over, excuse me, from commercial to RV, I have to show that I've got a shower, a toilet, a sink, a black water tank, stuff like that. And I'm going to spoof on that. I've got a shower curtain hanging up here, and I've got a shower pan. It's going to be there for pictures, but when I go to the DMV, the toilet's already sitting there. Nothing's going to be hooked up. I don't want it to be hooked up. I don't need that stuff for boondocking. I'm not planning on going into a campground and using hookups, and I'm definitely not going to have a black water tank. I've got a 10-gallon, and that's all I really require. I've got one of those Blue Boys. It's a little cart on wheels. And I don't think I'm going to take that camping with me, because it'd just be a pain in the butt. I don't know when I would ever use it, other than maybe to show the DNR or something that I've got 10 gallons of waste. But I don't think they'd even qualify that, because they want, something that's permanently hooked up to a toilet. And even though I could put a drop tube from the toilet down to the Blue Boy and flush right down into that, I don't think they'd consider that adequate. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Anyway, I don't need the hassle of having all that stuff in here, and it takes up so much space. That floor pan of that shower is, it's 3.5 feet long, and it's 2 feet wide. Toilet adds another 1.5 feet, and that would eliminate me being able to even have my recliner in here. And that's much more important to me, because I spend a lot of time in my recliner watching videos, watching YouTube, stuff like that. And, what else is there to do when you're camping? If the weather's bad outside, you come inside and you set. And I'm sitting in a fold-up chair right now, which is good for working because I can move it around. But the recliner is, that's ultimate. And I got it for free from a couple who live down, it was a 90-minute drive, an hour-and-a-half drive to go down and get it into lower part of Michigan. I'm in central Michigan. And they had it advertised Marketplace for $50. A new one is $679 from RecPro. And so $50, that's just dirt cheap. And based on the photos, it looks like brand new. And so when I got down there and looked at it, it's virtually brand new. And it's nice chocolate brown Naugahyde, which is a heavy duty Naugahyde. It's made for motorhomes, and it's got electric. So it'll recline all the way out in with electric, and I'll have electric on all the time anyway from my refrigerator. So hey, why not? Anyway, I want that. I want it. I've already got it. It's in my car being stored right now because I'm running out of places to store big things. And it's almost 100 pounds, so I'm not removing that until I really need it. And then I'll just put it on my handicap lift from my car on the handicap lift, raise it up, just slide it right in here on a 2-wheel cart, put it in place. 100 pounds is just too much for my old fat butt to be juggling around, unless I can slide it or put on a 2-wheel cart. So anyway, let's get to this wiring. I'll do some of it, and then I'll give you a little bit of an update and show you as I'm making progress in it. I don't I don't just run the camera while I'm doing work, because I'm too slow at doing any of this stuff. And one thing I wanted to say is I'm not here for entertainment value. I hope you don't come here for entertainment value, but if that yanks your chain, well, let's do it, But I'm here for the knowledge of what can be done and for the progress I'm showing, because I'm proud of it. And I'm excited about getting it done and to be able to travel down to Arizona for the winters and possibly buy some land down there in the upper part of Arizona where it's higher elevation for spending the summers. You can buy an acre of land up there for $8,000, $8,500, with big trees on it. Some of them are 30 feet tall. And that would be excellent, and the what's his title? It's got to do with the building, the zoning manager, zoning supervisor, I think is what the title is. He lives in his car. I mean, his job is in his car. He doesn't even have a real office because he covers the whole of Apache County, which is halfway from the top to bottom of Arizona and quite a bit wide. So long, skinny, rectangular. He's on the road all the time to go out and see these things that he needs to. And so when I was talking to him about septic systems and electrical and stuff, if you want to live in a shed down there or a bigger shed, you can put a 10 by 20 down there without any permits. But if you're going bigger than that, you got to have a permit. In order for you to place it, you've got to have a septic installed and permitted and electric permitted. And both of those are kind of difficult up in that area because of the lava flow that's underground. Eons ago, there was a mountain or something down there that was spewing lava, and it just coated everything. And you can take an air hammer or a hammer on the back of a tractor, on a backhoe attachment, and hammer down through that to be able to put in a septic system. But they even need to do that just to put in a power pole, because there might be 2 or 3 foot of dirt on top of the lava flow, but you can't put in a pole at that distance that'll stand up. And I've been looking at some land down there, and there's power in the places I'd want to have a place, residence. They don't like you to stay there year round or even during the summer for full time in a motorhome or camper, trailer, whatever. But, I'm talking to him about permits. He says, well, if you're not going to put in a septic or electric, he says, why don't you just get a agriculture permit? He says it's only $50, where, a building permit is several $100s. And you got time limits, and you have to put in a septic. That's got a permit that's expensive. You got to get a permit for the electrical. That's expensive. And all those things are just expenses. Where if you put up a pole barn, what I call in Michigan a pole barn, they don't seem to know what a pole barn is down there. So I just say, well, a horse barn then. Then they know what we're talking about, because they, a lot of ranchers down there. And I would just back my shuttle bus inside of there. Now I've got, I'm going to be putting my solar on the driver's side underneath the windows, with 4 of them going horizontal and then 4 of them below that are hinged below that. So those would hinge up when I'm traveling to where they're facing each other and be protected, and that's going to be covered with aluminum sheet metal. Anyway, so I'm thinking that I would want solar panels to be facing the south, and you got to even have a permit for solar, because some of these, almost all these places down there, if they do solar, they do it big time, because putting in electric is too expensive. So they'll get themselves a shed they can live in, put in a bunch of solar, have it permitted, because when you're doing a bunch of solar, you're talking some high voltages. And so that's why they want a permit for that, because, you're talking high voltages, bad things can happen. And a lot of people would try to do it themselves. Now, I'm experienced in all kinds of electrical stuff, so that wouldn't bother me to put it in, but it's going to be on the side of my shuttle bus. I'll be parking the shuttle bus inside of that pole barn. And then I'm thinking of having a rolling door on the side that has the solar panels on it, and have that side of the building facing south, but not to a road where, a driving by nosy person can say, oh, they got solar in their barn and they're living in their barn in a shuttle bus. But I would want that pointing away from the road. So I've got to be pretty choosy about which direction or what kind of east, west, north, south road I would build on. And I'm thinking all this stuff through. And my intentions, would just be to stay there during the summer when it's so hot down in the desert area, where I would do the winters. And it's about 300 miles between the high elevations and the low elevations, which is no big deal, once a year going both ways. So anyway, let's get going on this and show you a little bit here in a little bit. Well, I got some wiring done. It may not look like a lot, but it's probably been almost 2 hours. It's a lot of skinning and directing around and mounting stuff, and yeah, and it's up and down, up and down, up and down out of this chair because it's just out of reach for sitting down to do it. And I've got a stool somewhere, but I don't know. I'm just going to keep on with it. I've only got, I'll show you what I got done here. I got 3 of them done. And that's all the way from the switch panel. Get up there. Can't hardly see that from this chair here. That's from the switch panel down to the fuse block. Where is it there? And then down to the switch, through the switch, then out through, and then down behind here to the, yeah, my tripod's in the way here. We'll give you a side view of it. Down to the distribution blocks. That's 10 gauge wire there. And everything else up here is 16 gauge. Because once it gets up to the fuse block, it gets dispersed out, and that's just for small stuff. So, put you down here and come back to you later. And then I'm going to say, well, would you look at here? Hang on just a second. Flip you around. Look at that. Just look at that. Just look at that. Don't you just love it? I do. This stuff down here is going to have a double 10 gauge wire all the way through ground too. And then both of these over here coming in from the solar panels and going from the controller there down to the batteries. Those can both be double 1 gauge or 10 gauge wires, because that's going to handle about 40 amps. That's what the panels would give me. 5 times 8, 5 amps each, 8 panels, so max. And then down here, of course, whatever, I forget the calculations right now, but 500 watts at that's at 110 volts. So I'm not sure what it's carrying. I can't remember what it's carrying, but 2 10 gauge are plenty heavy for that. But those are stiff and mean. Okay. Anyway, I think that's going to be all it'll be for this video here. I'd like you to like, subscribe, leave me a comment. Time to shave, time to comb my hair. But anyway, subscribe to my channel if you would, so that you get all the videos. And like this video, that helps. And then if you leave a comment, I'll get back with you. I'll try to do it as soon as I can. I don't look at them every day because it's kind of hard to figure out which ones are new ones, but I can do her. But anyway, I hope this gives you something to think about if you're going to do your own solar and your own van, bus, whatever. And if you got questions, you can always ask them in the comments, and I'll definitely get back with you and help you out as best I can. My background through all the years, ever since probably maybe 1976, 77, somewhere near, I've been factory maintenance and maintenance supervision of some type, building factories, managing electrical contractors. So I know my stuff in that, and construction, hydraulics, pneumatics, all that stuff. But if you got any questions about anything, just ask me and I'll try to give you the best answer I can. Sometimes it's may require me doing a drawing, and I'm not above doing a drawing for you to show you what I'm talking about. My biggest problem today was seeing it different out of both these eyes here and till I get a new pair of glasses with the close-up readers on it, the progressives. It's just going to be a little bit tough. I couldn't hold, I was using both my hands for stripping and crimping and stuff like that, so I couldn't have used a magnifying glass anyway, unless I figure out some way to put that on a tripod. But anyway, maybe those goggles I've got will help out, the ones that I can put the zoom lenses in on. But they're more for, say if you're going to look at jewelry or something like that. But I don't know. At least they got lights on them, and I can take the lenses out and use it just with lights, which would have helped. But I finally turned my overhead lights on. That helped a lot, because trying to hit the holes in these little connectors here, the Termalens, just mighty tough to do. I don't know, I guess I can't. Where's my camera? There it is. Pretty darn small. The better ones are tapered on the inside, and these aren't. If you got them, it's got a plastic taper, kind of funnels your wires into the aluminum crimp part, but these didn't have that. I got to see if I can get some of them, I guess. Although this is the majority of what I've got to do. Now I got to take my trash down to the road, because they come and pick that up Monday morning, and then I want to mess around with it Sunday. Plus I also got to go get my mail. It's got some medications in it, and I guess that's about all I got to do today. Feed the cat and the dog, and feed myself again. Anyway, we'll catch you later. Subscribe, like, comment for me, please, and we'll catch you in the next video.